Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Coop back at it again with another UFC predictions video. This week we've got Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo in the main event. They are in China, in Macau, China, I believe. And yeah, we are going to go ahead and move on to the prelims. Oh, one thing I did want to get out of the way. Bullshit with the fucking Usyk versus Rico scorecards. The stoppage was bullshit on its own. Don't even get me started on that. But the scorecards is what truly cemented it as like, this is some fixed bullshit. It's kind of just sad, honestly, like that's what boxing is right now. Usyk should have been way more game and prepared for Rico Verhoeven, but you know, either way, just the pure bailage and the pure just audacity to do that shit. Fuck boxing, honestly. And it's just in such a bad place right now. We love to complain about the UFC over here in MMA, but at least we don't have to deal with that shit. Moving on to the prelims. Sorry for ranting about how shitty that was. We've got Loma Lookboonmee versus Jacqueline Amorim. Loma, as we know, sick striking Muay Thai style versus Jacqueline Amorim. Jacqueline, she's pretty slick in the grappling as well, and Loma usually struggles with that, and Jacqueline has a much bigger reach advantage. I can just see her getting her hands on her, getting her down on the mat, and I'm not going to say that she's going to be able to get the submission. Actually, yeah, I am. I'm going to go Jacqueline Amorim by about like a round 2 submission. I think she'll wear her out just with the grappling and just be able to, you know, sink in some type of choke. I'm going Jacqueline Amorim by submission round 2, but I would love to see Loma obviously get the win, as her style is definitely more fun to watch. We've got Zhu versus Rodrigo Vera. This one I'm kind of on the fence about. Zhu's decently slick. He likes to, you know, throw the kicks up the middle. Rodrigo's going to try and get in his face. I'm pretty sure Zhu trains at City Kickboxing. They usually struggle with the, you know, boxing heavy, you know, in the pocket type of guys. But he definitely has the reach advantage, but he doesn't have the height advantage. I'm going to go ahead and pick Rodrigo Vera to pick up a TKO here. I could just see him catching Zhu on, you know, on the way in, and that might be all she wrote, honestly. So yeah, we're going Rodrigo Vera to pick up the TKO. We've got Angela Hill versus Zhang Jingnan. Angela Hill, perennial gatekeeper of the women's strawweight division, versus Zhang Jingnan, making her UFC debut. She's former one championship champion of the world. And I think she's going to get it done versus Angela Hill here. I think that she's just going to be a little bit more well-rounded than Angela Hill, who's known for being well-rounded. And, yeah, you know, she's a little bit taller, but she doesn't have as much reach, but these ladies are about the same size, honestly. And I just think Zhang Jingnan is going to be a little bit better all around. So yeah, I'm going Zhang Jingnan by decision. Moving on, we've got Ray Saruya versus Louis Garul. Louis Garul just fought on the last card. He's coming in on short notice and to fight Ray Saruya. Ray Saruya... only loss is to the current champion Joshua Van, but his striking does not look that great, and I'm thinking that's why Louis Garul is coming in on short notice, thinking that he's going to be able to bully this guy and get him out of there. And I think that he's going to be in for a rude awakening. I think, 1, Ray Saruya has some pretty slick grappling, but 2, I think he's going to be leveled up. I think he's taken time off to advance his game. He's a young guy that just took a lot of time off, and I think that's because he realized that he was lacking in one department, and he really needed to up his game there. So I think we're going to see Ray Saruya on a different level than he was, and I think he's going to get a probably like a round 2 submission on Louis Garul. But I think he's going to look a lot better on the feet this time, so be on the lookout for that. Moving on, we've got Arichi Lang versus Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon, pretty slick on the feet. you know, I can definitely see this kid being a prospect in the bantamweight division. But Arichi Lang has some good power, a lot more experience than Cody Haddon. I'm gonna pick Cody Haddon to get it done here by decision. And I think he's gonna look really, really nice out there. Don't be surprised if he looks like a little, like really slick out there and just, a level above Arichi Lang. But there is always that chance that Arichi Lang lands a big shot and gets him out of there. But I'm still going to go ahead and pick Cody Haddon to win a decision here. I think he's just better all around in the skill department, but he definitely doesn't have that type of finishing potential that Arichi Lang has. Moving on, we have Yisak Lee versus Luis Felipe Diaz. Both of these guys... Oh, shit. I skipped a fight. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Ming Dang versus Jose Henrique. Got excited about Yisak Lee. No, I didn't. Anyways. In this fight, I'm going to go ahead and pick Jose Henrique. Even though he has a lot less experience than Ming Dang. Ming Dang just... He looks chinny, man. I don't know how else to put it. Watch his last fight. You'll see he got dropped a fuck ton. He was able to get a finish in that fight, but, he's resilient. It's just, I don't know, the younger guy coming in here, much bigger reach advantage. I think he's going to be able to pop him and set him down. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Jose Henrique to get this one done by TKO. All right, moving on. Yisak Lee versus Luis Felipe Diaz. Both these guys are grapplers. I think that Luis Felipe Diaz is the better of the two, honestly, in the grappling department. Yisak Lee likes to get the ground and pound TKOs versus Luis Felipe Diaz is actually like a more traditional grappler going for submissions. And I think that he's just going to be more dangerous in the grappling department. So I'm going Luis Felipe Diaz, but who knows? Maybe it'll completely cancel out and they'll just stand on the feet and fight each other because they both like to wrestle, but I have no clue. I'm going Luis Felipe Diaz by submission. Moving on, Sumidarji versus Alex Perez. And this one, guys, I've got Sumidarji. I know Alex Perez beat Charles Johnson, and, Charles Johnson has beat some top-level guys, including Joshua Van. But I think that Sumidarji has kind of unlocked his game where he realizes that he's a lot bigger than a lot of these guys. He can keep it at range. He can pop people with the 1-2. He can, flick those kicks out there and stay relatively safe and outpoint them on the scorecards and also just outland them and outdamage them because he, stays out of it. Alex Perez does have decent power, but I don't think it's going to be enough to just one-hit quit Sumidarji out cold. And so, yeah, I'm going Sumidarji by decision here. This one, we've got Jake Matthews versus Carlston Harris. Personally, I think that Jake Matthews is going to get this one done. I think he's just a bit more well-rounded than Carlston Harris. These guys are kind of just like, perennial outside the top 15, top 20 guys that are just kind of gatekeeping. But I think Jake Matthews is just a little bit better at that. And I think that he's going to be able to control this fight kind of wherever it goes, whether it's on the feet or in the grappling. I think he's just slightly better than Carlston Harris everywhere. So I'm going Jake Matthews by decision here. Moving on, we have Kai Asakura versus Cameron Smotherman. Kai Asakura needs to get a win here, and I think he will get a win here. He's definitely the better striker of the two, and I just don't see Cameron Smotherman, I don't see his jiu-jitsu being the thing that gets Kai Asakura out of there. I don't see him being, super out-grappling Kai Asakura, and maybe that will be his game plan, but I also think Kai Asakura is going to be more ready for that so that he doesn't lose his chance to fight in the UFC. So I'm going Kai Asakura by TKO. I think he's going to catch Cameron Smotherman with something big, and, he definitely chases the finish. He's pretty good at finishing fights. I think he's going to finish him. Moving on, we have Sergey Pavlovich versus Taliesin Teixeira. Keeping this one short and sweet, I think Sergey Pavlovich is going to nuke Taliesin Teixeira out cold, badly. Taliesin Teixeira is really big, but the guys that he's beat and the guys that he's knocking out are not on the level of Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey Pavlovich is one of these actual top heavyweight guys that's athletic, that hits really hard, that actually fucking trains MMA. And yeah, I think that Pavlovich is just going to hit him with a big hook and put him to sleep. That's about it. Because, Taliesin Teixeira, he's more of a boxer. It's not like he's throwing kicks. He has a giant, leg reach advantage, and he's not going to use that. So I'm going Sergey Pavlovich, KO, first round, probably within the first 2 minutes. Moving on, co-main event. Zhang Mingyang versus Alonzo Menifield. I'm scared for Zhang Mingyang because Alonzo Menifield obviously hits hard, but it feels like Alonzo Menifield gets hurt every single fight that he's in. And usually when he gets hurt, he gets finished. I know that he's, had a couple instances where he lands big and he actually ends up getting the guy that got him hurt out of there. But it always feels like he's the one that's, hurt first, and he's the one that's downward spiraling. And I think with Zhang Mingyang, he's going to land either a big elbow or a big knee, and he's going to get Alonzo Menifield out of there up against the cage. And it'll be a big highlight for him in China. People will be excited. So yeah, I'm going Zhang Mingyang to get a first round finish of Alonzo Menifield. First or second round finish. I'm leaning more towards the first, guys. Leaning more towards the first round finish. Anyways, moving on to the main event, we've got Song Yadong versus Deiveson Figueiredo. A couple years ago, if we were looking at a Deiveson Figueiredo who had just entered the bantamweight division, I would say this is a scary fight for Song Yadong. But what we've seen from Deiveson Figueiredo recently is he has zero output whatsoever. He's just looking to land a big shot in Aura Farm at fucking range. That's all he does. That's all he fucking does. And we know, especially with Song Yadong, it's not like his grappling is going to be that super effective. Merab's grappling wasn't, obviously he out-grappled him, but it wasn't, he couldn't hold down this fucking ball of muscle. Song Yadong's a beast. And so, yeah, I'm going Song Yadong here. I think he's going to win every single round of this fight. He's going to throw more. I think he's going to land more. Because he usually tends to struggle against guys that are southpaws, and yes, Figgy might change stances, but is he going to throw anything except for one or two fucking strikes? No. I feel like I can count on my hands the amount of strikes that Deiveson Figueiredo fucking throws. It's actually so infuriating to watch him fight, especially as somebody who's a big fan of him that loved him whenever he was, having his fucking trilogies with, Moreno and shit. It's just... It's a sad fall from grace, for sure. Bedtime MMA compared him to Chito Vera. I'm not willing to do that yet, but it's almost to that point. It's like, bro, throw some strikes. Be willing to just get into a big exchange here. It's just as bad for your legacy to lose these fights via decision as it would be if you got caught, because if you actually went out there, I feel like a lot of these fights that he's losing, he could have actually won if he just went out there and started throwing in the pocket, because he has a ton more fucking power than 90% of the guys that he's fighting. But either way, I think Song Yadong's going to get it done. It's not that Deiveson Figueiredo isn't well-rounded enough to beat Song Yadong. I think he has every single skill and tool needed to beat him. I just don't think that he will use any of them properly. So for that reason, I'm picking Song Yadong. So, to go back through the card, my picks are Jacqueline Amorim, Rodrigo Vera, Zhang Jingnan, Ray Saruya, Cody Haddon, Jose Henrique, Luis Felipe Diaz, Sumadarji, Jake Matthews, Kai Asakura, Sergey Pavlovich, Zhang Mingyang, and Song Yadong. Those are my picks for UFC Fight Night, Yadong versus Figueiredo. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and remember, most of all, love you guys. Peace.